Um, Hello, good evening, guys. Hello, good evening, guys. Okay. I think I would like to wait for more people to join up before I start the stream. I think I would like to wait for more people to join up before I start. Okay. So I'm just going to take some time to fire up 3ds Max and just try to prepare the stage. Okay, I'll just start, then let the person that joins will just meet us wherever we are. Good evening, my name is Lekman Owamoyo, and I've been doing Archviz for the past 5 years or so. For a while, I've always had the notion of having making YouTube tutorial videos and at least trying to share the little knowledge I have, but I've been procrastinating, pushing it forward and stuff. But then I'm thinking, okay, with the live stream, I'll just start. I think that's better. I don't have to go through the hassle of recording videos and then editing them. I can always show my screen while I work. Then we just get to see how it works. Okay, so on today's live stream, first live stream, I'm nervous as well. I hope you guys can forgive any mistake I make today. Hopefully, with later streams it gets better. Okay, on today's project, starting a new project called the Dancing Torso. It's a project for a friend and it's for his master project, and it's a cityscape. I have not done cityscapes before, so I'm pretty much excited to see what I can do on this, and I hope I can count on you guys' inputs as well. Okay, so I'm just going to load the file. Okay, thanks, Paul. I'll try to do that. It's not it's not something I'm used to. Okay. Um, you guys will have to forgive me once more, especially for the sound output. The microphone I ordered is not yet. Yeah, so I have to make do with my earpiece. Okay. So I would have liked to show how I imported the model into the 2ds Max. Well, hopefully, actually, I think it's actually a saving grace that I imported it beforehand because the model was very heavy when I was trying to import it in, and it was dragging as well. I had to do some cleaning up and other things just to get the model ready. So this is the model the guy sent to me, and as you can see, it's a skyscraper, and we'll try to we'll try to put this in the city scene, with other skyscrapers around. So yeah, let me start. The first thing I like to do on a new project is that's the first step for me. Always look for references. It's very important. And today, to start with, I'll be showing you websites where I search references from and whatnot. The first website we'll be checking out is bezos.com. Uh, um, before I used to look for references to the vendors, to um works done by other artists. But then recently, I was watching one of the tutorial videos I always follow on YouTube. Um, the tutor in that video was talking about using real life pictures as references. It's better than vendors because, according to him, he's saying vendors have been modified. Some are not realistic, so you can't use that as a very good reference for your work. If you are trying to make your work look realistic, it's better to go with real life images. So that's the reason why I'm using this site. The first site is pesos.com, and I have other sites as well. So let's just try to see what we find. Yeah, and let me go with skyscraper and let's see. Okay, so here we are. Um, for the project, I'm planning to go with a day render and the night render as well. So I think I'll start with the day render. So for that, I'll basically be on the lookout for skyscrapers in the daylight mist. Thanks, Toby. Thanks a lot. Okay. Um, I'm not getting so much of what I need here, but then let's continue session. Okay. One other thing that I would like to point out is there's a software. If especially if you PureRef, that's the name, and I think the software is free. Yeah, you can see it on my screen there. And the software is free, and especially if you have two screens, if you're working with two screens, this software is just perfect for collecting references. It works in such a way that whereby you can always have it on top of your desktop. You can drag it. You can arrange your references. Just to have something to work with by the side. So I'll be dragging my images down to this thing. Let me put this on top first. With the live stream software I'm using, you can't see both of my screens, so let's just work with this limited workspace for now. So skyscrapers, okay, I love this. Let me have that. Just going to download that. Should I see? Okay, can I drag? Okay, I can't drag it. So I'm just going to download that. Okay, now after downloading that, I can always drag it and drop it right in my scene. Yeah, exactly, just like that. All you have to do is drag and drop the folder. Then beforehand, they sent me some images as well, so I'll be dragging that to the PureRef reference collector. I think these are renders he has done for the project beforehand, so we'll try to make it better. So let's just have that, even though they are not references, but then who knows, they might be good material points or something for us. So I have to drag this the PureRef to my other screen, then I'll just keep collecting the references and I'll show you after I'm done collecting the references what I have. Okay. Skyscrapers, not getting much. Okay, let me have this. I don't need it to be that large, so I'm just going to download. Hello, Patrick. Thanks for coming on this one. God, okay. Not getting much. So let me try cityscape. That's what that will give me. Okay, I like this. If at all, I'm not taking reference from material, probably the environment. It's good to come in handy. So while looking for references, I don't look at the material used in the reference alone. References can also be used for the mood. Um, Maybe there is an atmospheric, maybe it has an atmospheric look and you are trying to recreate that. It just depends on what you are trying to go for. So just letting it out there. So you don't have to think, okay, it has to be okay. Maybe you are looking for references because of the material used or something. You just be the mood. Okay, I think I like this as well. Okay, let's try the other websites I know. There's another one, Pizzabill.com. Okay, yeah, this and that good website. I don't come on this website just for reference images. I also use them the images there for my backdrops because sometimes it's actually better to have the backdrop render with your image than having it in post production. Sometimes it works better that way. So I hope in this one we'll be able to explore these options. Let's go with skyscraper again. Okay. Why is this website telling me like this? No. Okay. I have this. How? Really? Okay. I think for now I've gathered enough references to start with. Okay. So yes, what I have, as you can see, it's still scattered, but then it's easy. You can have it arranged in no time. Images arrange optimal. Yeah, dancing is also quite a funny name. I'm definitely going to ask him why he went with that title. Okay, so I have my references collected, and this software has made it easy to navigate the references you have. You can double click to have that image alone showing, and then with your right and left click, you can switch between reference images. Um, the plugin is free. You can, I think, pureref.com. It's free. Okay, I think then get POF. Yeah, then Windows, iOS software or Linux, you can get what's in it. Okay, it used to be free, but then I don't know what's happening here. Okay, maybe I'll just upload it and then share on my Discord channel so you guys can get it from there. Okay, so I think I have enough references at least to start with. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to this mouse. Okay, so after getting the references, the first thing I would like to do is to pick camera angle, because of course we want to see the building, and at least just to see what we are trying to render, and to get a good camera angle. Even it comes with some tips you have to work with. For example, you have to be able to know. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Um, how to position your model. I've forgotten. There's something it's called. Um, okay. Ratio, composition, yeah, composition ratios and whatnot. Yeah, to position your camera angle, you have to be able to make use of different composition techniques, and each can be used in different situations. It depends on what you are going for. I'm not a master of this. I'm guilty of that as well. I don't know how to properly compose or compose my scene very well, but then I'm still trying to learn. So I guess the one we are most familiar with is the rule of thirds, which I think, let me print that out. Hello, Mr. Faith. Okay, yeah. Here we have the rule of thirds explained, and in a way, okay, let me just get into it, but then I'll explain what I understand by the rule of third, because that's the most commonly used composition technique. I guess you guys might probably be familiar with it as well. Now, they are saying for the rule of thirds, okay, okay, in the rule of third, they are saying you have to divide your composition into nine boxes, and at the intersection of, or at the intersection of, okay, this is why I say rule of thirds is because you have three horizontal, three rows and three columns. So now, for you to have a very great image, you have to put points of interest at intersections of the lines. Okay. Now, when you look at this image, the first thing your eyes will be drawn to is the fox. Is that a dog? Yeah, it's the dog at the bank of this river, and then from there you can see other points of interest, such as the icebergs in the background. Now, that's basically how the rule of thirds works. Points where you want to accentuate, points where you want your viewers to look at most, you try to place those points at the intersections of the lines right here. Okay, but then don't let me get deep into that. That will come in later on, probably when we are doing targeted tutorials or something. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is to place my camera in the scene. I'm using Corona render by the way, but then the misconception most people have is thinking most of these renders are different. Or if they are going to be any different, it's going to probably maybe be the render settings, or but then the way they treat light and other area of Archviz is pretty much the same. Even creating materials, they work with the same ideology and whatnot. So yeah, I have my camera placed in the scene. Now to view your camera viewport, you can come to any viewport of your choice. Then the shortcut is C. Now I've placed my camera, but then we need to get a very good viewpoint. Now the first thing I have to do is go to my render settings. Now under the output size, because I'm trying to show safe frames here. By safe frames, it means if I'm to render this view right now as it is, what I'm seeing in this space right now is what will get rendered for me. Okay, so you have to have show safe frames on. If you don't have it on, you might actually see it. Okay, everywhere is the model is shown everywhere, but then by the time you render it, you might be seeing a lesser viewport or a lesser scene from what you are seeing right now. So you always have to have this show safe frames on. Now, because of the height of this skyscraper, then I'll probably want to have a longer height and a shorter width for my camera view. So I'm going to change this to custom. And now, if you yes, what's happening here? Now, take note as I change these values that the height increases and decreases as I deem fit. So try 800. Okay, what is 600? Okay, I think this is a very good aspect ratio for the skyscraper scene. Now, if you want to have it locked down, so in such a way whereby if you are to increase maybe the width or the height, the if you are to increase one of these values, the other value adjust accordingly to keep that aspect ratio. So you need to have this locked. So now, even if I'm using probably 2:4 on this, the aspect ratio still remains the same. But if I don't have it logged and putting this maybe 2000, it's going to change. So you always have to have that place logged. It depends on what you are going for though. Okay, now we adjust our camera properly. Now, looking at other how these artists have come across, probably my friends when working on their TVD, most of them like to have their viewport all open while they work, they navigate and everything like this. But as for me, I don't like to work with it this way. I like to have um, my viewport, like the camera view, I like to have it on this side while I have probably my front elevation or side elevations here, and then the perspective view down. I'll show you the reason why I prefer this view. So to configure it to what I want it to look like, I'll just go to, I can click any of the plus signs here. It does not matter. Just any of the plus signs in the four views. configure viewport. Then you want to go to layout, and yeah, this is my weapon of choice. There you go. Okay. I'm using the letter C. That's shortcut for camera. Any view you are going for, once you press the letter C, it shows you what your camera is seeing right at that moment. And the shortcut for front is F, the shortcut for left is L, and top is T. Okay. So just keep that in mind. And for perspective, P. So just keep that in mind. Now I want to introduce default shading. I can use default shading, but then I kind of like using the clay mode. It gives me this kind of visual appeal. Then once again, don't forget show sessions. It's very important. Okay, now I'm going to go on my top view. I'll select my camera. Okay, now okay. To be able to get a very good viewpoint, you need to look at it. Though it depends on what you are going for, but then you need to look at it most times from the standpoint of, okay, a human being viewing the model. Now, if a human being is to view this model right now, you will agree with me, because at this height, definitely a human being can be viewing this building from this height. So probably we have to put our camera along or around the side. This still I think this is the bedroom of this space should be like 26. So if we have a camera view around 180 here, we should have a perfect viewpoint. Now you can highball it. Definitely. So I'm just going to move the camera down. Just the camera. You don't need to move the target yet. So yeah, I'm moving the camera down, and I need to have automatic vertical tilt checked. This option helps you keep your vertical straight. I think there's an option in case of anyone using Gray or whatnot. There's an option for that as well. I think vertical, is it correct verticals or something? Yeah. I'm not that conversant with Gray anymore. But then when I was using it, then I remember using something like that, correct vertical teeth. So once you have that checked, you can be rest assured that you have straight verticals. Now, the next thing I want to do is to take the camera target and move it up, because we want to be able to see the old model. So move it up. Okay. Um, I mean, right now the camera is still looking. So I want to be able to have something that looks good for the camera view. Okay, let's this give very good response. Okay, let's just go with this for now. Since we are just starting, we don't need to rush the project. Yes, Malik. when I was actually when I was trying to set the live stream up, I added it to the description, but then turns out when I started, I couldn't find it anymore. So, and I just had the link to the Discord channel in the chat right here. Then probably in later streams we'll be able to, because we'll be able to get it better. Yeah, thank you, Tajudin. Get vertical. Yeah, I think it has a button for get horizontal as well. Okay. He wants two camera views for this project. So we could just as well get create the second camera view right now. Let's make it a copy. And I want to make adjustments to that later. One feature I don't think most people use, or one feature I think most people don't use in 2ds Max is the use of this bad boy here. Have you ever had the issue whereby you are trying to maybe you have lots of models here, you are trying to select your camera view, but then there's a model in the way. Now you don't have to worry yourself much. All you just have to do is come here, click cameras, and it won't be able to select anything geometry. It will only be able to select elements related to the camera. So I'm just putting that out there in case you guys don't know. Okay, so let's slide this second few looks. Okay, some comments. I want to have the target for this guy. Yeah, so that I can have a bit of sky and still have my whoa. BC, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining the okay. So for now I think I'm happy with the two camera views I'm picking up. Then yeah, once I'm done with taking the camera views, I like to do something whereby I don't want to see the camera lines or something showing the viewport, so I just as well come here, check this and switch it off. And this is actually a very good place to hide and unhide stuff as well. Let's say for example you want to hide all the lights in your scene. All you just need to do is click this and all lights in the scene will be hidden. Same thing goes for the shapes and the geometry as well. But for now I'm just going to switch off I'm going to hide the cameras for now. Okay. Now I was at the beginning of this stream I was talking about a case whereby composition techniques where the composition techniques you need to be able to get a very great image. And then tomato, come on, don't be petty. And for the to be able to get these composition techniques in 3D, there's a plugin. I'll try as much as possible to just maybe find time put all these popular plugins together and put them maybe in a Google Drive or something so that you guys can have access to them. Um, the name of the plugin is coming. Let me just get that out. Okay, yeah, you okay, yeah, got it. The name of the plugin is Camera Mesh or something like this. Just give me a moment, please. Let me get it out. See this guy. Um, this plugin I don't usually use it myself as well, but then since the aim is to get better, right? We might as well just start using it. Okay, I think I got in. Okay, come on. No, don't have it anymore. Okay. Oh, I don't like this. Okay. I can't find the plugin anymore. Then okay, yeah, got it. No, for you this time, I got it. Okay. Where did this something now? Okay, here it is. So here is the plugin. The plugin is going to help you set your scene. As you can see, custom rule of thirds. You can you can switch them on and off. There are different composition techniques. There are different composition techniques, diagonals, golden ratio, golden triangle. Some of these techniques are complicated. Then who knows? You might be able to have use for them later on. Okay, so according to the rule of thumb, we are saying okay, if I want my viewers to be able to look at this image and see the skyscraper straight away, I should place my model along one of these lines. I don't know, is this doing it much for you guys? Please let me know. I'm sorry, I'm waiting for your input. Like, what do you think about the camera view? Is it doing it much for you? Because in this scene, we'll definitely be having other skyscrapers. Probably one around there, one behind there. Do you think this is a very good view for you? Let me share the second camera. Let's try to have this for you. Let's just have it in the middle. I don't think that would do. Okay. I think good with the camera views. Let me just go check that again. So, who knows? Maybe later on we might, depending on how well this turns out, might do more views for this. Okay, so I'm happy with the camera views I'm taking right now. But then I would still really like a inputs on this. What do you guys think about the placement of the models right now in this scene? Okay, okay, I guess let's just move on. Yeah. So after um, picking the camera views, the next thing I like to do is I would very much like to start lighting the scene right away. But then I think I still have to do the scene some justice. Probably bringing more skyscraper models. Will I want to do the vegetations right now? So I don't want to have everything right off from the start. Okay, I think as for a start, let me just fill up these rows. Let's see. I'm just going to take a plane. Or maybe not a plane. Let's not have too many polygons. It's not as if we'll be getting too much of it done. Most of the sites will actually be empty anyway, so I'm just going to go with the line two right here. Just pick up got the areas we want to work with. Yeah, close this line. Um, for this sound, so I'll have to turn it into the two body. Okay. Yes, this is the reason why I love to use this layout style. I want to be able to see my camera on the left side untouched. Then I navigate my scenes. Since I already know the shortcuts, if I want to go to the front view, I have my letter F for the left view, and then I can always have this place as a perspective view in case I want to up it and move the scene around. It's just perfect for me. Okay, so let's move this plane and below this road network here. Put that. I want to believe we know how the align tool works. Then let me just explain. For the align tool, it works in such a way whereby you can align models to probably maybe viewpoints. You can align to models, their centers. You can align them to each other. You can put one on top of the other just to be sure that um, one of the model is standing right on the other model. Now, this does not always work, as some models come in with pivots that are not right, pivots that are not in the center, or whatnot. So we just have to navigate all this together. I'll be showing you how to navigate this, um, whichever circumstances come up. I'll be showing you guys all that. Okay, so the align tool, you click that. Now, because you have the road network already, you just need to you have to make sure it's highlighted to be sure that's what you are picking up from. Okay, let me start again. I'm clicking the ground plane I created, then align to, then make sure the road network is highlighted and click. Now, when you click off the bat, it moves, and that's because um, all axes are turned on. You have the X position turned on, you have the Y position turned on. Now, we just want to align this on the X position alone, the X position. That means the vertical. We want it to move up and down alone. We don't need it to move to the left or the right. So we just have these two turned off. Then now it says current object and target object. Okay. Now, for the target object is the road network, and we want this to be at the minimum. That is to be aligned right at the base of the road network. So click that minimum, and then we want the top of the plane to be right below the road model as well. So we choose maximum for this, and okay. Now if I'm to zoom in, you can see we have the road network perfectly. on the site. Okay, just move this guy forward. Okay, I like to call this tool the nudge tool, even though it's called dolly camera or something. It enables you to, maybe you already have your camera view selected, and but then you just need to move the model a bit. So instead of clicking the camera and moving it, you can come here, click dolly camera, and once you click and drag, just drag your mouse to the front, it just moves just a tiny bit. You can use the up arrow too, but then that takes a longer time. Okay, so, yep, it's coming up. Let's see if we have something good too. Okay, perfect. Okay, now let's now to do is to try populating this scene. Get I would very much love to do lighting right now. Lighting is like my favorite part of the whole Archviz process. Probably after lighting now, material texturing. Populating the model, not much, but then what can we do? We have no choice. Okay, so um, there's a very great tool or import I would like to introduce to you guys. It is called Connector. I'm sure some of my friends know how this tool works already. So I'm just going to drag that into this scene so that you guys can see what I'm seeing. Now, the way the connector tool works, the connector tool is free. It's a plugin by Design Connected. You can always get it. Yeah, Design Connected. These guys actually have free models as well, in case if you need some free models, like very good free models. If you're into 2D or artist visualization, you understand what it means to have very good models. They go a long way in pushing that realism you are looking for. So you have quite a lot of it. That's not what's working out well. Okay, go to product, then connector. Yeah, download for Windows. Now, the way connector works is by the time you um, link your library to connector, it works in such a way whereby when you bring in your models, if the five parts are correct, if the five parts are right, your models come in with textures and everything applied. When I started visualization, then I always had this issue of, well, probably maybe I just acquired a new library, maybe from Evermotion or something, and because previously I already had um, my marks, I already have all my five parts in my 3ds maths set already. Now, immediately I download that new model, put it in my folders, and I have to go um customize the file path on that 3ds maths again. And you can't keep doing this for every file you download or every model you have. So and that limitation of that is when it gets to, I think, 1204 file paths, you can't add more file paths anymore. So that's why this tool is just perfect. Before I got to know about this tool, I was always using the 3ds maths assets model. Even that still had its own limitations as well. So for this thing, I already have skyscraper models. So let me go to the folder to make it a, I think there's a PDF so we can view what we are adding to the scene. Okay. Yep, so there we go. Funny enough, these models are not even heavy. They are pretty much low poly. And the best part is they are nights for each skyscraper in the model. There's a day model and then there's a night model, and it's just perfect. It's just great for visualization. As you can see, we have the day model and the night version. So it is what you are going for. Okay. Probably not going to take something so let's look for one that won't drive our building, because the building has to be the main focus of the design. So if we have something looking taller or more extravagant than the building, then the focus is defeated already. But oh my, this model is making touch on tissues. I think I'll take this guy. Model 37 is looking pretty much plain. So 37. Oh, it's 37. Wonderful. Just the one I need. And I can't find it. Just wonderful. 37. Where are you? Okay. I'm just going to, all you just need to do is drag and go. Now, one other thing is when you click on the model under connector, it tells you if the textures are missing or they can be found. Now, in case I have missing textures, I can always come here, manage files, and probably maybe set a new part or edit the part just to get my model or my models where it should be. Okay. Even though it's telling me the textures are found under the part status is still showing stripped. Okay, let me see, maybe that's something I can fix. I'm just going to go to the textures folder, copy that part, and then I come back here, manage files, select on the part. Okay, present. So the model is good to go. Mm. Just let me have this on top view. I'm just going to drag this and draw down. Now we wait for it to load the model in. So, whoa, this guy is tall. Now, and that shortcut, when you have anything selected in your scene and you want to have that object in your view, just press Z. Z will zoom everything into the viewport for you to see. Okay, now I don't know. Those are looking like they are night models. I think there was a mistake when they were making this. They all have lights in them. No problem. Okay, let me try getting I'm done with them. I can't seem to figure out why both models are looking like night models. So let's look for another. Ah, I like this guy. I like the way it looks. Oh, glass. Should I use it? Don't want something that will okay. Let me try using this guy. 43. I must say thanks guys. I never thought this much people would come to the first live stream. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot. Hey Tayo, good evening. Okay, so I think the model is taking long to load. So while it loads, we might just talk about I'll just talk about the plans I have for the channel. Okay, I think the models are in. I'll just talk about the plans I have for this channel and live streams I'm starting off on. So I'm thinking Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday first ones. Now I'm actually thinking on Saturday instead of doing live streams as I'm doing it now, like working on a project. I'm thinking because there's this website, Women Beckerman. Wow, even THVC. Women Beckerman. On this site, when I was starting out, the site really helped me a lot because was able to I was able to get access to a wide array of tutorials, even though they were written tutorials, but then they still helped me a lot because some of the techniques the professionals used in their tutorials, then it got me curious and then I was able to apply them in my own work as well. Now I can't figure out the reason why these models are both showing as nice views. But then anyway, let's just use one of them. If we render and it's not looking how we want it, we can always delete that. Okay. I think this one should be here. Okay. Again, we want to align it so that it sits right. And then by the time we align, because the camera is far away, we are allowed to probably have some mistake or it does not have to be accurate if that makes sense. So let me just create this down. Like I said, I don't want the model that will grab the building. This building is the main guy. Okay, he's the dude, he's the baby boy. So, now I want this model to sit on the plane we created. So as before, current object as per the skyscraper bringing in the minimum, that is the lowest point or the lowest polygon on that skyscraper, on the maximum point. So that's for the target object, the maximum point of the target object is now. So you can drop that there. What was this shape? Is this a room boss? Something? I think it is. Okay. So the surrounding videos we are putting in this model are not our concern. They are just to make the scene look good. Get so they are not following any specifications. We don't care about them, so to say. Since they are basically the same. Yeah. Whenever you are probably there are differences between copy and distance. So I'll just explain that right now. Whenever you copy, by copying it means you are telling the model to treat each object like, even though they are identical, you're telling them to treat each object as different entities. So by the time you want to render this, if I were to select copy as the clone option, by the time I'm going to render this, the PC will have to calculate the textures, the polygons for this model, and now calculate the textures and polygons for this model as well. So whenever you are working on especially large things like this, you just have to be smart about your work process. So, but then when you do make your clone options as instance, it means once it calculates one of those instances, it uses that calculation for every other instance in the scene. So probably your render time should um, reduce a bit, and even though not drastically, but then it will help in some way. So we're going to select instance and controller. What do you guys think? Should I use the same model for both like this, or should I find something different? Maybe just to break up some repetition, or break up the repetition. Desire, thanks for coming on the stream. Yeah, finally I'm starting though. Okay, um, let me just draw up the site plan you sent to me. Okay, I might have to send that on my phone. Okay, the site plan is sent to me. Yes, two buildings. As I said, when I was trying to clean up this model, some of the polygons actually got deleted. The plugin I was using got rid of them. Hmm. Well, not to worry. You just have to rebuild them. They were probably dragging the viewports back a bit. Now, when working on 3D models, there are actually plenty techniques, plenty ways to make the work easier for you. To be honest, so, plenty techniques we don't know about. It was until recently I knew you could posit textures. Just recently, and it really helped me a lot. I was working on this project and it was just dragging. I wanted to render just a preview and it was taking hours just to calculate light catch and whatnot. I just had to buy the plugin and To be honest, that was just the best 22 years I've ever spent in my life. Okay, this guy's already competing. It's already competing. We don't want that. Okay, what to do? Just select these two guys and scale them down. Okay, yeah. I want to, if I were to use scale the way it is right now, they'll start moving from their base or moving, try to move towards the center. So let me try scaling on the local axis. Yeah, perfect. I don't want them moving away from that base at all. Then align them back. Hey, Manuela, shout out. Thanks. Okay. You're supposed to have a bad boy here too. I'm supposed to have a bad boy here too. Like I said, those models are pretty low poly. As you can see, I have, which is looking gigantic, but then the viewport is still pretty much responsive. In the end, why rendering or maybe when you had more stuff in the environment, you might have to prosy these guys. Turn them to prosy so that at least we have better movement in our viewport. Okay, so let me get back. Yeah, I totally forgot about the second camera. Oh my god. It has been covered up. Okay. Yeah. What's going to happen to this dude now? Add the coin so I can see what I'm moving. Okay. Let's see this could work. Maybe I could use these guys to drive in the attention to the building in the middle. Hmm. Just the way it is in that pressure. When you try to solve one problem and that one might arise. Okay. Should I have it this way? I think in a way the focus is on this video, right? What do you guys think? Hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. But then they have to be there. They have to. That's what work around the waves. Okay, let's try splitting this one. Maybe that will work. Okay, as before, scale along the local axis. Like the same as is. I hope I'm saying it right. Hey, so it's almost looking like no. Maybe this could work. Like what I'm trying to do is use these two skyscrapers here, these two skyscrapers, use them to guide the geo size to the skyscraper in the middle. Um, Sorry, I didn't quite get what you meant by sending to the back. Let me just scale this one. But then when I scale it more, they're almost the same right now. It was almost, to me, it was almost looking like it's better when they were looking taller, and in such a way it looked as if the two skyscrapers are driving the via size to the model in the middle. Like you couldn't see the top of these two models right here. Okay, let me just try that out. Oh boy, this guy had damn. So okay, we can still look like this. Mm. Then they're not looking so small. Yeah, it's good. It's perfect. I'm just adding the two models that should be here. Then after that, maybe we can do some just some preliminary light test. Okay, let me go to this bad boy again. Let's see which one can we take. I like this dude, right? I like the way it looks. is this such it doesn't refit. The 47. So that okay. So they were actually labeled. Well, this is not happening. I'll have to move that camera again. Trying to be in the same situation again. Just need to scale these dudes down. I think we're able to both cameras. I think we're able to see the building, right? I don't know, I still kind of have an issue with this view. I have to find a better way to do this. I think okay, I love this shot. Mm, 25 we have purpose, something motion blur going around there. Purpose going come. This will definitely be perfect for the night shot. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the night shot for this. Take the night shots for that and this for the day shot. Okay, sort of saving. Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, when I'm talking about sites, let me just get to that. This site actually helped me a lot when I was starting, as I said before. There are about how many pages? About I think 33 pages of making of tutorials. On each page, you find about 2 to 3 tutorials, making of tutorials on these pages. So I'm thinking, instead of on Saturday, instead of doing the live stream, how about instead of doing the live stream now, how about we pick up one of these making of tutorials, we go through it, and any of the techniques they are talking about there that I understand, I try to recreate it or showcase what they mean in 3D Maths. Maybe we'll be able to learn something that way. As you can see, lots of making of tutorials, like very, very good tutorials. Even though they are not videos, but then just reading, so I'm able to understand some of it. For example, just look at this. Now they are talking about all the techniques they use to make this image. And honestly, just going through it, you can learn something from this tutorials. You can see, look at the lighting. Now, when you see those kind of pictures, you wonder, how did they light the interiors? This is an example of what they did to get the interior looking as it is. Guarantee they should probably try this technique, or probably try what they've tried to do. If you try it in your own work, you'll probably find some improvement. Okay. That's by the way, even the render settings as well, and the render passes, post production, and everything. So that's by the way. Let me just get back to 3ds Max. Okay. In a way, we have most of the buildings we will need to put. Now we might actually need to move some of these models later, but for now, let's just leave them the way they are. Because actually, in the world of 3D, it's make believe. Yes, if you were to look at these buildings, you probably think they are the same height, and because this is just looking this way, because it's in the distance. So sometimes you just have to do what you have to do to get something nice out of an image. Okay. Now that I have that, I would like to try some lighting. Though I would like to put in tools and whatnot, but then I don't know. I'm still eager to find out how the lighting will look like in this scene. Probably if I'm going to be having shadows from some of the skyscrapers following the building or something like that. You know, for this scene, for the next live stream, I'll try to make a sketch of, because sketches are good. And they are a good way to know. It's like a roadmap for you to know what you want to do with the scene. So um, I might want to have some grasses here. Maybe over here, just have a tree branch, just slightly showing out. I just want to I want to be able to have this area here cool, if possibly just a bit dark. Then I'll have this area, the background where the building is. I'll have it lit as much as possible. Since this is lighting, I want the lights bouncing off the windows, a glare or two, just bright. I want it bright at the background and at the foreground something dark. It's going to give a very great contrast for the job. Okay. So even though even though I said I probably won't want to do the lighting 2 days, but then we still got a lot of time and we are here. probably we'll just spend more time since it's an mysterious thing. They say daylight thing as well. We'll just spend more of our time on the texture. Yeah, I think that's where we spend most of the time. For lighting should be relatively simple to do. It should be relatively simple to do, not much. So let me just draw up the references again. Okay, like this is what I'm talking about. If I can have this kind of ambience, this kind of brightness for my background, and for the foreground, maybe not as dark as this, but then for the foreground, I have this kind of mode, or this kind of mood for the foreground. That is the area near to the camera here. I might actually be able to get something great from this. Okay, so let's get to lighting. Now, I most of the time I just use, or let me say, I prefer to use some Corona Sun and Sky. Reason being that, uh, in a way, I prefer them because I've found them to have a bit more control. I can move the sun wherever I want it to be. This for the sky, I can move it wherever I want it to be. If I need to have clouds in this scene, I can always use background images, just something to show at the back of the render. So I'm just going to do this. Let's let's have the lights into this. Now, the principle of the Corona Sun and Sky is this. When you are working with Corona Sun and Sky, the height of the sun model actually determines the color balance of your scene. If your sun is down towards the horizon here, you find out if we were to render this view right now, we would have a sunset kind of feel because the sun is on the horizon, it's on the horizon line. It just works the way it works in real life, basically. But then I'm trying to go for something light, especially for that background. I'm trying to go for something very light. So um, I'll be moving this guy up. Very good enough. I want to be able to have some shadow. Oh wait. There's the sun and there's a nutter. Um, if we're trying to be realistic, we could actually just use that. Okay. Okay, so the nutter is just the way the one in 3D as is pointed. So we can either have our sun coming this way or coming this way. So let's do a afternoon kind of feel. Don't be too bright. Shouldn't. I'm just trying to be, how do I put it, realistic as possible because the model has a notable already. Let's say I was working on just any random project whereby I don't need to check the notable or something, and I just place my son anywhere I can fit, whereby I feel should work out. But then there's a notable for this project, and we wouldn't want, who knows, you might have some lecturers with two eyes saying, if you're not aware is this, then why is your son coming from this area? So you can't have that. Okay. Now, after putting the sun where you want it to be, you come here and add Corona Sky. Once you click that, your viewport most of the time changes. I don't like seeing this gradient I'm seeing right now. I prefer to have my environment dark. It's just perfect for me. It does not that it has any advantage. I just prefer it that way. So I'm just going to put this back to a solid color. Now, Corona has this okay, before we get to that, I would like to lock my vendor's settings on my camera view. This is what I mean. Um, please keep your eye on this drop button. You notice that once I click on another view, it changes to the name changes to that view. Now, what this means is whichever view I'm clicking right here is what will get rendered. Yeah. Mhm. Imagine the case where you are working, you want to render this, but then mistakenly your mouse is on this, and then you wonder what's wrong. It's not rendering what you want it to render. And then don't fret. What you just have to do is click this view, then lock this in such a way that if I click this place right now, it's not changing. It is logged on the camera view. So we do that. Then one other thing now, Corona has this very wonderful feature. I think it's in VA5 right now. If you've not upgraded to VA5, please do. I think it started from VA Nest. Is it VA Nest or maybe VA5? So if you're using VA and you've not upgraded to VA5, please do it. We really help you with that. Um, the feature I'm talking about is the interactive light mix. It's on Vue right now because Kona and Vue they have this partnership going right now. So you see some features from Kona porting to Vue and some from Vue porting to Kona. So now what the interactive light mix does is that when you click on it, it calculates or it lists all the lights in your scene, whereby in one render you can actually get your lighting setup done and good to go in one render. You don't have to do multiple renders and move and keep changing intensity, change intensity, render, change probably maybe the temperature or the color, render again. You won't need to do that. You can do all that once and be done with lighting. It's actually a very great feature. So now before you click on the Corona Interactive Lightings, you want to come to this area right here. The render resolution we have right here is pretty much high. Now if we were to use this resolution for the Corona Lightings, I'll show you an example. Clicking this, even though I have just 3 layers of light in the scene, it is telling me to take up around 800 MB of memory. Now that's pretty much high. So what we want to do to reduce this value is come here. I'm reducing this value to 600. Now once I click this, I have just 1500. Now this will take less of the memory on your PC, and you're able to probably work more, get a faster output, or probably do other things while the Corona light mix is calculating or rendering. So once you have that, now there are three options. I would like you to take note of these three options. There's instance light, group light, and individual light. Now These three options have their own uses. I won't tell you one is better than the other, or this is the one you should always use. It depends on the situation. I've seen situations whereby it's better to it was beneficial for me to use group lights, and I've seen situations whereby it was better for me to use individual lights. I'll explain this. Instance lights, like I mentioned earlier, the concept of instances. When you make instances of objects, one of the value, changing the value of one of those objects will affect the other instances in the scene. Now, um, situations whereby good lights may work better are situations, for example, um, in some chandelier models that you bring into your scene. When they were making that model, most of the lights that were copied or that were moved around in that model are not instances. Then it turns out that because they are not instances, and probably in some chandeliers you see as much as maybe 40 light fixtures in one chandelier. Now, if you are using instance light, by instance light is going to create each light as an instance. And funny enough, this subject is not, those lights are not even instances. But then because they are standalone, it treats each of those lights as instances, and then you probably see a very high value to calculate the lightness for that scene. But then you find out that because those lights are under groups, if you were to use group lights, it is going to treat all 40 light bulbs in that group lighting as one lighting parameter. So like I said, it depends on the situation. I won't say one is better than the other. But then for this thing, I'll be going with instance light. So I'm just going to click generate. There's no wait time. You don't have to wait for anything. The light mix is generated. Now to see what we have to render a testing. Now before I render a testing, I like to do what I call lighting test. And okay, opening this slate material editor, I'm sure some people are going to be like, they don't. Most of the people I've spoken with don't like slate material editor, and I wonder why. Because it's the best. If you've not started using slate material editor, please do. Once you use this, you won't go back to compact anymore. I promise you. Once you do, you won't. Okay, but then I'm going to explain and put you through. It's basically the same. It's just probably because of the threads and the join. People tend to think it's hard or something. It's not. It's not hard at all. So um, I like to create some what I call an override material, which I use for my writing test. So the first thing I do is right click materials, corona material. So I have this basic material right here. So under color, I'm using a gray color. Okay. Now the fourth gray is 128 by 128 by 128. For me, the value I use is 200, 200, 200. I don't know why I found it in one tutorial and I've been using it ever since, and it has working for me. Or maybe use a higher value of gray or use a lower value of gray. I don't think it matters. So I'm just going to put this 200, 200, yeah, 200, 200, 00, and I click OK. Now, what I want to do is come to scene right here, check this guy, material overhead. Once I check that, then I can drag this and drop. Now, under this material overhead tab, you can see some other buttons right here. Now, if I have glass materials in this scene and I want to be able to render my material overhead without, and still be able to see my glasses, or probably maybe I'm rendering an interior scene and I want like to come into the interior space while I still have my material varied on. All I have to do is click on here, preserve. Now the options that are here is preserve glass materials. Materials that are glass will be preserved. They won't, the material varied, this white material will not be applied on those materials. Light materials, perhaps maybe you have a corona light material you're seeing, it's going to preserve it. Then displacement, maybe um when you were working your scene, you have a displacement turned on in one of the materials. Checking that will still do displacement so that you can see the deformity in the mesh. Now, this option is not limited to Corona render alone. I'm very sure, I'm very 100% sure we have these options in Vue as well. Probably it's going to be around where you find the material right as well. So for now, I don't want to see the glass material. I don't want to see the glass materials yet. I just want everything white. So I'm going to leave it unchecked. Now, for this option as well, this object excluded, the way it works is, let's say, for example, I'm rendering like I'm rendering the material variety for every other object in the scene. But then if there's a particular object, maybe okay, maybe I applied a good material on this outer skin, and I want to see how it looks and still be able to get a faster output. I can click on this object and then click this plus sign. It will be excluded. Now what that means is when I render this out, the material I'm applying to this will show. If it's a good material, it's going to show, and every other object will be white, which is what we want sometimes. But then for now, like I said, everything will be white. That's how we want it for now. It smells like tomatoes. So much tomatoes when I was blending. So sorry about that. Okay. So now let's try to do the lighting test. So I'm going to click this to start the Corona interactive VOP. Hopefully, let's see what it gives us. Okay, good. Why are you taking forever? Why is this guy taking forever? Okay, good. Yeah, okay. Now, at first instance, you might not see anything. Now, the first thing I always like to do, you can click the stop button. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is the highlight compress. Now, when you click highlight compress, the highlight compress, this value helps you with your overexposed areas. It helps you minimize it in such a way whereby you don't have overexposure in your scene. You can pretty much go to any value, but then I usually use 10. Now, in a way, you notice that we're able to see a bit of the middle, a bit of the skyscraper, the sky, and things. Now, one other thing I like to touch as well is LUT, LUT, lookup tables. Uh, I'll still go in depth into this right now in this lesson. So I have some LUTs. I'll just put everything together in the folder. Some came with to the Corona renders. Corona render had some LUTs. Is it LUT or LUT? Have some LUTs pre-installed in the package. But then for me, they were not so good. They were not what I was looking for. So I was able to find some other ones online, and the best one, the one I'm using till now, but maybe if I find some another better one later on, I might try it, is this guy right here. Give this go a lot. You might not see anything right now, but then watch, this is where the magic happens. Now you can start reducing these values. You can start reducing these values. Depends on what you are going for. Depends on what you are going for. Okay. Okay. Do I want it this way? Do I want it this way? It's looking a bit something. We just a little bit like this. Okay. Just something preliminary. We're not going to hardcore environment or lighting hardcore lighting right now. Just trying to find something good, something bright, but then still won't be out. I guess that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I think I'm pretty much fine with this. Pretty much fine with this. You're still able to see the curves, and we are not having any overexposure anyway. So let's check how it looks. The second camera view. Take forever, don't take forever, don't. Okay, I'm going to have everything. And the thing is, maybe probably use this for the day light render and the other view for the night rendering. The reason why I'm thinking this is I like the way the shadow is falling on this area right here. It's not bad. It's not. This especially a bit. Okay, okay. So can I like that? Okay, we'll see. We'll see. So guys, I think for today I would like to stop here. We've pretty much made some good progress. We've been able to put in some skyscraper, and I don't know. I really hope you guys were able to get it in or two primary things you guys didn't know before. Yeah. Then in the next live stream we will try to add more details to the site. You know, put in trees. It's going to be a long one. To be honest, I can see putting trees, um, street lights, you know, just something to make it look more like a city. Like if you can drive stuff for something like this, even though we don't want to have we don't want to have as much skyscraper like this, but at least something, you know, trees, vehicles, just populating, just populating. And next week to sorry, by the next stream, I'll be showing there's this effect. I've forgotten what they call it. Is it finance effect? Whereby if you are to if you check the reflection in the facade of this building, you can see it has some distortions, even though they are glass. Now, some people make that mistake of when they render skyscrapers like this, and then all the glass on the glass in the facade just reflects automatically or exactly what is in the environment. By the time you have it, you just have this very boring, straight up image with no variation. There's actually a very clever trick to it, and it's just simple. It's just the use of noise map in the bump of the glass material, and then you just be able to have this effect by the reflections look wobble, they look distorted, and sort of like in real life. So once again, I have to thank you guys so much for coming on this live stream. It really means a lot to me, and I'm glad you guys are here with me to, you know, give me insights, feedbacks on my work, and learn something in return. So see you guys on Friday. Thanks a lot.